How cheap can you paint and finish a Warhammer miniature before it starts looking like it was finished during a power cut? Hello, my name is Liam and welcome to Arcade Grenade. This is the first episode of a new series called How Cheap Can You? Where I take a hobby that can be painfully expensive and try to do it using the cheapest tools and materials I can find. For this challenge, I'll be painting and finishing a Warhammer miniature using nothing but cheap acrylic pens, bargain bin tools, and none of the expensive equipment that anyone out there recommends. Can a handful of budget supplies produce something that I'd happily display on my shelf? Or am I about to create something that even the forces of chaos would be embarrassed by? Let's find out. Well, if we're going to do a Warhammer build, I guess the best place to start off would probably be with some Warhammer. So I've gone for this kit. The reason I've gone for this kit is this was gifted to me as a Christmas present and I thought that would be a good place to start. So let's have a look what you actually get inside the box. To say all the model building I've done, I've never actually gone down the route of Warhammer before. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just put it together. I'm sure we're going to end up pissing someone off. So for how cheap can we Warhammer? First off, we're going to have this kit that cost this amount. And then obviously we're going to need some tools. So I've got the cheapest nippers that you can buy on Amazon. Obviously we're going to need these to cut our sprues out. I know that people who build Warhammer tend to use thin cement like this, but we're trying to keep this as cheap as possible. We're not going to use this. We're going to use our old friend super glue, which again, I know it's going to piss people off, but the whole purpose of this is to do this as cheap as possible. So let's build this thing first. I find it very difficult to get into all the little tight spots with these huge nippers. If you compare the biblically expensive God Hand compared to these, yeah, quite a difference. We are certainly not using these for that. These are reserved for Gunpla and Gunpla only. Yeah, these cheap nippers are kind of less cutting the plastic and more just smushing it together. This isn't going to be a professional finish by any stretch of the imagination. It's purely just an experiment. So the next thing we're going to need to do is tidy them up. Using Gunpla, I'd usually use a glass file, but we're not going to be doing that. Instead, we're going to be using these cheap sanding pads. Price of this. So let's get everything tidied up. See, I instinctively want to go and grab my cleaning brush, but we're not allowed it. We're trying to keep this cheap, aren't we? So that cleaning brush doesn't exist as far as these models are concerned. Poor little things. I know you won't see these ones, but this is the Gunpla builder in me, feeling the need to remove every single nub mark. Brilliant. Well, that's everything tidied up so far, I guess. I guess then the next thing we need to do is glue this sucker together. I don't want to admit it, but I'm kind of enjoying putting this together. Not as much as Gunpla. I'll always be a Gunpla fan through and through, but yeah, I can see the appeal. I can see why people go crazy for this. Oh god, this is going to be the start of an expensive, another expensive hobby, isn't it? I can feel it. Is there a right or wrong way to pose these? I don't know. I've never built Warhammer before. I guess that arm would go there. Yes, I think your head goes there. That makes the most sense to me. Well, there we have it. My first ever attempt at building a Warhammer figure. Please do let me know in the comments all the things that I did wrong, because I'm know full well I'll have made many mistakes. I guess the next thing to do is paint it. Okay, so off camera, I've given this a little coat of primer. So I guess in the interest of fairness, we'd probably better put the primer. So that was this much. So to paint this, we're gonna have a go with acrylic colour pens. These were this much on Amazon, and I don't actually have a clue what colour this thing should be. I've grabbed a few, but I'm kind of gonna be using the box as a guide. Okay, so we're gonna need some like blue, black, silver, white. Cool. Okay. Well, let's get some paint on this thing. See, I'm guessing that we're going to end up with paint absolutely all over this thing because it's quite hard to get in those tiny little areas, but I'm determined to struggle on. Something that I am going to want to do as well at some point is put like a wash on this to bring out some of the details. If we're doing it cheap, we're not going to be able to use inks, are we, or anything. We're going to have to make a wash out of acrylic paint or something. I'm also massively regretting gluing this together before painting it, but from what I've seen, other people manage. So I wanted to do it properly. I didn't want to like cheat and go against the way that you're supposed to do this. I'm hoping that a lot of the blunders that I've made here with the paint can be covered up with detailing and various other methods. Yeah, the base is going to be a bit messy. Oh, I'll go over that with black. You'll never see it. It'll be fine. Oh my god, look at that. Oh, look at the paint. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Do you know what? With actual proper paints and tools, I could see myself very easily getting into Warhammer. Not even playing it. This is... I'm thoroughly enjoying. I mean, I know I'm making an absolute mess of it, but I'm thoroughly enjoying just painting. Well, if you squint and look from very, very far away, it doesn't look too bad. I do apologise that I'm not talking much, but frankly I have never concentrated on a task more in my entire life. Now onto the... what's supposed to be a brass colour. It certainly isn't. Yeah, I did want these bits in here to be like a goldy colour, but I'm guessing they're going to be yellow. Let's see how the white turns out. God, this is going to be tricky. Jeez. Tiniest bit. Oh god, that looks horrendous. Oh god, look at the eyes. He's... oh well, never mind. And then I guess we'd probably better do the base as well, hadn't we? Take that back to black. Now, hang on. There's a way to do this, isn't there? The question is, do we include the pot of paint that I'm using as a base in the budget? No, I don't think we will. Okay, so far we have managed to absolutely butcher a Warhammer model, which is good. We've done it without spending much money, which is also good. So I'm guessing the next thing along is going to be adding some detail. Now it's certainly getting there, but I still think we can go a little bit deeper with this. So why don't we head back over, add a few highlights, maybe even an oil wash if we can make something, and see if we can just make a few more of these details pop. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, why don't we just add a few highlights around the edge of the plating of the armor, just to try and break the lines up a little bit, and then see what else we can add in with our very limited palette of colours. So what we could do is try this ever so slightly lighter blue, just on the edges. I know the effect I'm going for. I just can't quite articulate it into words. I'm guessing we could pick out a few little bits of detail with this lighter blue. Like, if you look at the box art, that's the exact effect that I'm going for. But obviously we don't have any of the tools or the paints to do it. So we're just going to freehand it and see how it looks. And it'll either look absolutely awesome or absolutely atrocious. Okay, I don't want to overdo it too much with that, because heaven forbid that we ruin it more than we already have done. Okay, I think the next thing is we have a go at making a oil wash. Again, obviously we're going to do it as cheap as possible, so I was thinking, just to keep costs down further, we would just use a mixture of black acrylic paint in water. I guess, yeah, keeping with trend of the video, this cost this amount. Okay, well, let's have a go at making our own wash. I've probably got far too much water in there as well, haven't I? But never mind. Hey, do you know what? That's not turning out too bad. I mean, yeah, I know it's dripping everywhere, but we can tidy that up with a bit of cotton, with a cotton bud. But it's certainly popping the highlight. It's certainly popping the detail out of it. I suppose it's giving it that gloomy, dirty effect. I think we might be onto a winner here. Do you know what? I'm actually quite chuffed with how this is turning out. I thought this was just going to be an absolute mess, but I know there's probably people out there that say, well, yeah, this is literally how you do it, but I mean, I didn't know. I'm used to using panel liner fluid on Gundam models, not cheap crap acrylic paint mixed with water. I suppose I could always just mess about with the consistency as well, couldn't I? But for now, it's not looking too bad. But for a first time experiment, I am pretty damn chuffed with that. Oh, did we remember to factor in the cost of the paintbrush? I'm not sure if we did, but if not, this is how much that cost. Okay, I think what we're going to do, we're going to leave this well alone now, because we could just sit and chuck water and paint at this forever. Let's let that dry and see how it looks when it's dry, and then the final thing we're going to do is just add a little bit of colour and texture to the base. But apart from that, I don't think it's turning out too bad. Well, now that our oil wash has dried, I think that is looking absolutely brilliant, to say how cheaply we've done it. It's nicely highlighted some of the details in the model, it's added a bit of contrast to the little plates of armour, and really just picked out all those little fine details that we really wanted to show. So the last thing we need to do, well, we don't need to, but the last thing I'm wanting to do is just add a little bit of texture and depth to the base. And to do that, this is probably going to be the cheapest trick of the whole build. We're going to add a little bit of dirt and gravel to the base. And where do you get dirt and gravel from completely for free? Out of the garden. So we're going to take a little bit of PVA glue and we're going to pop it on the base. I'm not going to cover the base, I'm just going to do a few areas, I reckon. A little bit around the feet there. Try and get it in a natural looking patch, I guess. And then we're literally just going to take some dirt and sprinkle it on. And that's added tiny little touch of detail to the model for zero cost. Okay, so we've got those two little areas there. Does it need a little bit more? Yeah, maybe just a little bit around the right foot. Well, I think that's looking pretty cool. So I'm going to let this glue dry and then we're going to take a few shots of it finished and let's see what we end up with. And there we have it, one finished Warhammer miniature using some of the cheapest materials and tools that money can barely buy. Honestly, considering what I used, I think it's turned out pretty well. But rather than review my own work, I thought I'd hand it over to my good friend Anthony, who's a bit of a pro when it comes to Warhammer, who is surely going to provide a loving, supportive and wholesome assessment of the final build. Let's see what he's got to say.
What is that? There's no highlighting, there's no washes. He looks lumpy. His eyes are going in a different fucking direction. What is this? And it's another Ultramarine. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more 3D printing, model building, retro repairs, and general nerdy chaos. I've been Liam, this has been Arcade Grenade, and apparently this has been rubbish. Thanks for watching. Honestly, considering what I used, I think it's turned out absolutely atrocious. Why did I bother?